The words we use to describe our promises, that statement of a promise, sometimes the promise is broken at the very mention of that combination of words. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes our promises are so epic. They're almost too big, right? Almost unattainable in the way that we say them. And I think that we get a lot of that from movies. I mean, think of every movie you've ever watched, every book you've ever read. At the core of the story is a commitment, a promise made, broken, kept. You know, it's there. And I think that starts to rub off on us, that our promises have to be so epic and movie-like sounding, right? You know, we're on the top of the mountain holding Simba and, you know, the drums are playing and that's what we think promises have to be, this big epic thing. So we make them so big that they're almost unattainable. Well, life isn't a movie. And sometimes we need to be more particular with that word choice. Let me give you an example. I was giving a speech at a college. It wraps up. It's about the importance of a promise. And afterwards, college student comes up to me. And this girl with all this passion says, I know exactly what my promise is. I know exactly what it's going to be. I am going to win the Division III national championship because I said I would. And she says it that passionately. But then I stop her. I say, think about that. Actually, I'm actually sorry to even say this to you, but that is not a promise. Can you really promise that? The truth is, something like a national championship, there's so many external factors at play, right? Maybe the ref has a bad call. Maybe your best player rolls an ankle, can't play. You can't promise that because the definition of a promise is a statement telling someone you will definitely do something or something will certainly happen in the future. With all these external circumstances, how could you promise something will certainly happen? You can't. Because what she said to me was actually a goal. And there's a difference between a promise and a goal. Sometimes we confuse the two. You see, a promise, well, she could make a promise of learning all of the plays, studying the playbook. She could make a promise to show up to practice every day and on time. She could make a promise not to have unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. You can make those types of promises, and the truth is, it's the everyday promises, those little things we can control, that lead us to our goals. But sometimes we don't have the right word choice, and we need to think about that a little bit more.